Eastern Europe in the late 19th century, a world of storm-tossed empires, backward villages and modern capitals, poverty in the company of grandeur, elegance in the shadow of violence. Amid this uncertainty, the Jews of Eastern Europe struggled to preserve a dignity forged over centuries. Some sought a future in urban life and industry. Others turned inward to ecstasies of the spirit. But for all of them, there was the promise of a new beginning. In every market and street across Eastern Europe, word of a neighbor's arrival and success in a new land beyond the Atlantic inspired a whole generation of restless Jews. Millions responded, crossing mountains and oceans, carrying as much of the past as could fit in a trunk or in a memory. They came to Western Europe, South Africa, Australia, Argentina, but more than anywhere else, to America. For almost all who came to the United States during the greatest wave of human migration in world history, New York's Lower East Side was the first stop. In 1847, there were 13,000 Jews in New York. By 1890, more than 200,000. And in 1920, almost 2 million. In the tenement districts of the great city, each person became a mixture of Yiddish and English, of tradition and adventure, merging old-fashioned European attitudes with wide-eyed American ambitions. In the old world, Jews lived among themselves. Here they became yet another colorful thread in the emerging tapestry of New York. It was here they would take root and flourish, proud to claim a future filled with vision and hope. They lived, they worked, and they joined in prayer. Encountering the mysteries of life and death, happiness and sadness, loneliness and community, the immigrants worshipped in storefronts and churches, abandoned by the Irish and Germans who had lived there before. Finally, they felt the need to express all they shared in a more tangible form, to celebrate their presence, full-voiced, with pride and with dignity. Nothing more clearly expressed their confidence than the creation of their own house of worship. Their mark on the new land would be the first synagogue built by Eastern European Jews in America. Soaring above the grime of streets and alleyways, embellished in every detail with symbols of the Torah and the mysteries of Talmud and Kabbalah, they constructed a building of elegant simplicity, framed in the most up-to-date architectural taste. Here, on the bema and altar, in the gallery and on the steps, they could freely express a shared identity. Here, under the mystery and majesty of a richly embroidered folklore and Judaic heritage, they could find spiritual release from daily pressure, share a story of the old country, or pass along a mazel tov and a sigh. Until the 1930s, the synagogue thrived, attracting to its services such prominent figures as Isaac Gellis and Sander Yarmolovsky, stage and screen actors Sam Jaffe, Edward G. Robinson, and Paul Muni. Artists Ben Shahn, William Gropper, and Max Brand. And scientists such as Linus Pauling and Jonas Salk. Despite the passage of time and a dwindling congregation, the Eldridge Street Synagogue is still an important testament to that remarkable wave of immigration. From the distance of a full century, the glory of the synagogue remains. Registered by the state and the nation as a historic site, and designated by the city as a historic landmark, its original design survives amazingly intact. In the face of grave and continuing deterioration, its dramatic plaster vaults, domes, and coffers have over the past decade stunned architectural historians, fired the zeal of preservationists, and rewarded the yearnings of those looking for their roots. The elaborate wood paneling, the exquisite stained glass windows, and trompe-l'oeil murals still have the power to inspire. The stately old synagogue sits like a great stage set, connected to voices and players whose sense of exaltation and freedom, of joy and beauty, can still influence all who come to visit. But what has been built up over a century can be lost in a matter of months. To lose this building is to diminish us all. As participants in a modern civilization, we define ourselves by the character of a shared past. It is in this sense that the vision and dignity of Eldridge Street belong to all of us. To those of us whose great-grandparents flocked to its magnificence, or passed it by on the way to work. To those of us who, in our own way, look for spiritual release from everyday pressure. To those of us who enjoy the wonderful diversity that is this country's ethnic and religious heritage. To be able to visit the Eldridge Street Synagogue is to reaffirm our link to a moment in the past, but it is more. For all Americans and our children, it can serve as a symbol of the dignity and pride we carry within each of us as we move with vision and hope toward our own horizon.